I died choking on my own vomit in a 6x8 cell. The guards laughing outside the bars because they'd slipped something extra into my last meal for the family discount. One sneered. The betrayal hit harder than the poison. My own brother, Ethan, the golden boy, had framed me for embezzling from Dad's company, turning a forgotten high school diploma into my death warrant. But as the world faded to black, a glitch in the universe yanked me back, 18 again, staring at my reflection in the bathroom mirror of our McMansion in Greenwich, Connecticut. The date on my phone screaming May 15th, 2018. 3 days before graduation. My heart slammed against my ribs like it was trying to escape. But this time, I wouldn't let it. Luna Hale is dead, I whispered to the girl in the glass, her eyes wide with the knowledge of 2 lifetimes. And you're going to make them pay for killing her. The first thing I did was smash the mirror with my fist, blood trickling down my knuckles like war paint. No more pretending to be the invisible daughter, the one who aced AP classes while Mom scrolled Instagram and Dad closed million-dollar deals. In my first life, I'd begged them to come to the ceremony, send invites, made calls, even driven to their golf retreat in the Hamptons to plead in person. Family first, Dad always said, right before jetting off to Monaco with his mistress of the week. They forgot. Again. Ethan showed up instead, all smiles and backslaps for his Yale acceptance, whispering in my ear, "Don't worry, sis. I'll make it up to you." He did, by planting evidence that I skimmed funds from Hale Enterprises to cover my desperation, as the tabloids called it. The judge's gavel was the last sound I heard before solitary.
But now?
Now I was armed with the truth. A Rolodex of sins buried deeper than Dad's offshore accounts. Ethan wasn't just ambitious, he was a monster, grooming me for the fall guy role since we were kids. Mom's migraines were code for popping Xanax and ignoring the bruises from Dad's stress relief. And the big secret? The one that unraveled it all in my trial? Hale Enterprises wasn't built on real estate. It was laundered blood money from Ethan's side hustle, trafficking knockoffs laced with fentanyl precursors across state lines. I discovered it by accident, hacking Dad's laptop in a fit of teenage rebellion, and Ethan covered it by pinning a smaller fraud on me. This time, I'd exhume every skeleton. I bandaged my hand in the sink, the sting grounding me in this fragile second chance. Downstairs, the house thrummed with normalcy, the clink of silverware as the maid set the table. Ethan's booming laugh from the den where he schmoozed Dad over scotch. I could hear Mom's heels clicking toward the kitchen, late as always from her yoga session with the trainer half her age. My phone buzzed, a text from my best friend. "Mia, can't wait for grad. You picking up the gowns?" In my old life, I'd said yes. Driven alone through a rainstorm, hydroplaning into a ditch on the way back. Minor crash, but it delayed everything. Gave Ethan time to fix the books. "Not this time," I muttered, deleting the thread. I grabbed my backpack, stuffed it with cash from Dad's safe. I knew the combo from years of being the responsible one, and slipped out the back door. The spring air hit me like a slap, azaleas blooming under the security lights, the neighborhood's perfect lawns mocking the rot beneath. I walked 2 miles to the bus stop, thumbing through my phone for the first move, a burner app, anonymous email to the SEC tip line. But no, too soon. Revenge wasn't a sprint, it was a marathon of calculated cuts. By noon, I was in Stamford, the city grit a welcome change from Greenwich's polished facade. I found a dingy internet cafe, the kind with flickering fluorescence and coffee that tasted like regret. Logging in with a VPN I'd bookmarked in my jailhouse daydreams, I started digging. Ethan's Yale essays? Plagiarized from a forum I'd stumbled on in my first life. Dad's mistress? Not just one, a string of them. With NDAs fat enough to choke a horse. And Mom? Her charity work was a front for funneling cash to a cultish wellness guru who preyed on bored housewives. But the crown jewel, the fentanyl files. Ethan had emailed himself backups from a dark web server. Timestamps matching the night I'd confessed under duress. I forwarded snippets to a journalist I'd read about in prison newsletters, Rita Voss, the bulldog who exposed Epstein's network before it blew up. Anonymous source. Verify attached. Hail family deeper than you think.
Attach.
Send. Exhale. It was the first thread pulled, but the sweater wouldn't unravel overnight. That night, I crashed in a motel off I-95, the room smelling of stale smoke and regret. Sleep came in fits. Dreams of the cell morphing into graduation cheers that turned to jeers. Woke up sweating. The TV droning Fox News about opioid epidemics, ironic, given what Ethan peddled. By morning, I decided, no more Luna Hale. At the county clerk's office, I filed for a legal name change. Simple, cheap, and irrevocable. Alara Voss. Rita's last name. A nod to the storm I'd unleash. No family ties listed. No forwarding address. Just me, reborn. Words spread fast in our echo chamber of a town.
Mia texted. Doppia Luna?
Your mom called me freaking out. Where are you? I blocked her. Guilt twisting like a knife. She was collateral. But trust was a luxury I couldn't afford. Ethan's call came next, sis. This is a joke. Right? Come home. We'll laugh about it. His voice dripped honey over venom. I could picture him pacing the study. Dad's Rolex glinting as he dialed his fixer. I didn't answer. Instead, I boarded a Greyhound to Boston, the engine's rumble syncing with my pulse. College was out. Yale had been Ethan's dream. Not mine, but community college flyers in my bag promised a fresh start. Anonymity was my armor, but isolation not. At a rest stop, I overheard two truckers griping about rich kids dodging real work, and it hit me. That's what I was now. Not rich. Not anymore. Just a girl with a vendetta and a backpack full of ghosts. Boston welcomed me with indifferent rain, the Charles River churning like my thoughts. I sublet a closet-sized room in Alston, shared with a barista named Jax who blasted indie rock and never asked questions. Days blurred into shifts at a coffee shop, steaming lattes for Harvard brats who reminded me of Ethan, nights spent on Rita's blog, tracking her investigation. Her first post dropped a week in, Whispers from Connecticut. Is the Hale Empire built on poison? No names yet. But the dots connected. Shares spiked. Comments erupted. Finally, someone calling out the 1%. Fake news. Hales are saints. The backlash was swift. Dad's PR firm spun it as sour grapes from a disgruntled ex-employee. Mom posted a tearful Insta story. Prayers for my missing daughter. Family is everything. Hypocrite. I watched from a library computer, fingers itching to comment, but discipline held. This was chess, not checkers. 2 months in, the first crack appeared. Ethan emailed from a throwaway. You think you're clever.
Luna?
Running changes nothing. Blood's thicker. Attached was a photo, me at the motel. Timestamped. They'd hired PIs. Panic surged, but I channeled it. New dye job. Red streaks like war cries. Cash only from here on. Jax noticed, offered his couch. But I declined. Attachments were weaknesses. Rita reached out via a dead drop I'd suggested, a P.O. box in Cambridge. Her note, intriguing tip. Need more.
Meet?
Neutral ground, a dive bar in Somerville. She was shorter than I imagined, sharp-eyed in a trench coat, nursing a gin and tonic. Ilera, she said, sliding over a beer.
Bold choice.
We talked for hours. Me feeding her puzzle pieces, Ethan's server logs, Dad's shell companies. She pressed for my story. I gave fragments, the forgotten grad, the frame-up, but held back the death. Why now? She asked. Because they killed the girl I said, voice steady. And I'm not letting them touch who I am now. She nodded, scribbling. This could go nuclear. You ready for fallout? Fallout. The word lingered as I walked back through fog-shrouded streets. Ready?
Hell no.
But regret was worse. Winter bit into Boston like a bad habit, snow piling up outside my window while inside. Steam from instant ramen fogged the glass. I'd aced my first semester at Bunker Hill Community College, biology.
Psych.
A creative writing elective where I poured venom into short stories about faceless betrayers. Professors called it raw, classmates whispered unhinged. Good. Let them underestimate me. Rita's articles snowballed. By December, the Boston Globe ran a front-pager. Hale Enterprises linked to shadowy supply chain, fentanyl ties suspected. Stock dipped 15%. Dad's face on CNBC. All furrowed brow, and we're cooperating fully. Ethan vanished from socials. Rumored to be holed up in the Hamptons. Lawyered to the gills. Mom's posts shifted to Bible verses. Blessed amid the storm. I scrolled from Jax's phone. Mine was a burner now. Swapped weekly, feeling a twisted glee. This was justice. Slow-roasted. But revenge has teeth. Christmas Eve. A knock rattled my door. Jax was out caroling with his band. I peered through the peephole. Heart dropping.
Mia.
Bundled in a parka. Cheeks flushed from the cold.
Luna, Elara.
Whatever. Open up. I know you're in there.
Shit.
I'd ghosted her. But she tracked me via old friends, the kind who trade secrets for Starbucks. I cracked the door.
Chain on.
Go home.
Mia.
This isn't your fight. Her eyes, brown and pleading, cracked my resolve. Your mom's a wreck. Ethan says you're on drugs.
That you stole from them. But I know you.
What happened? The lie burned. In my first life, Mia visited me in county lockup, smuggling candy bars and tears. They framed me, I'd sobbed then. She believed, but testified anyway, loyalty to family.
She said.
This time, no room for maybes. They forgot me.
Mia.
Every milestone. Every cry for help. Graduation was the last straw. I'm done. She pushed the chain, slipping a gift bag inside. Then take this. And think about calling. For you, not them. Inside, a snow globe of the Greenwich Town Square. Our old haunt. I shook it later, watching fake flakes bury the steeple, wondering if absolution was just another trap. New Year's brought escalation. Rita's source, a whistleblower from Hale's warehouse, confirmed the fentanyl lacing. Feds raided the Connecticut HQ. Headlines screaming pill mill empire crumbles. Dad invoked the fifth. Ethan lawyered up with a white shoe firm that charged by the sin. I contributed anonymously, leaked voicemails of Ethan berating suppliers. Cut corners or you're out. Keitao it up, dubbing me Shadow Fox in her notes.
But they fought dirty.
My P.O. box got flagged, junk mail laced with trackers. Jax found one on his mail. A tiny GPS. Dude, you're in deep, he said, tossing it in the Charles. He was right. Paranoia set in. I quit the coffee shop. Took night gigs walking dogs in Beacon Hill, rich folks' poodles. Ironic guardians for a girl dodging wolves. One walk. Under gas lamps flickering like old movie sets. My phone buzzed. Unknown number, we see you. Little sis. Walk away from Voss. Or we bury you deeper. Ethan's voice. Distorted but unmistakable. I froze. Leash taut as the Yorkie yipped at shadows.
Deeper?
I'd already clawed out of a grave. But fear whispered. What if they found Alara Voss? What if this life ended before the payback? I didn't walk away. Instead, I doubled down. Infiltrated a Hale shareholder meeting via hacked Zoom, skills from prison library books on cybersecurity. There, virtual faces pale as Dad announced restructuring, Ethan lurking off camera, eyes like chips of ice. Q&A time, an anonymous chat query. What about the opiated links? Chaos erupted. Shares tanking live. Rita quoted it next day. Insider sabotage? Spring thawed the city. Cherry blossoms mocking my frostbitten soul. I'd saved enough for a studio in JP, tiny, but mine. Celebrated with takeout Thai and a bottle of cheap Merlot. Toasting to the Hales' funeral. But solitude bred ghosts.
Nights.
I'd replay the cell. The drip of faulty plumbing. Screams from adjacent blocks. Ethan's deposition video where he testified. My sister was always unstable. Unstable. For loving a family that loathed me. A decision loomed. The first truly controversial one. Rita wanted to face mine for the expose. Anonymity's safe. But impact? That's power, she argued over diner eggs. I stared at my reflection in the spoon. Warped but familiar. Reveal myself. Risk everything. PIs. Lawsuits. Maybe worse.
Hide.
And stay a whisper. But whispers don't topple empires. I need time, I said. She slid over a folder. Ethan's college records. Forged transcripts. Time's what they steal. Use this. That night, I burned the snow globe in the sink. Plastic melting like lies. Mia's gift. My last tether, gone. By dawn, I drafted the email to Rita, scheduled the interview. But on my terms, full immunity. And we hit them where it hurts most, the legacy. The interview aired in June. A 60-minute segment that gutted prime time.
Me?
Face blurred but voice raw. The Hales forgot my graduation. But they won't forget this. Their empires built on bodies. Clips of raids. Ethan's mugshot leaking online. Dad's heart attack followed. Stress-related, the obit lied. Mom retreated to a spa in Sedona. Chanting away the karma.
Ethan?
He called. Untraceable line. You bitch. This ends now.
Click.
But it didn't. Feds indicted him on RICO charges. The fentanyl trail, leading straight to his dorm room deals. I watched from a bar. Strangers toasting justice, feeling hollow. Victory tasted like ash. Yet doubt crept. Jax asked, worth it, over beers. I confessed fragments, the death, the rebirth. He laughed, thinking metaphor. Hell yeah. But don't forget to live. Alara.
Live.
The word echoed as summer heat baked the asphalt. I'd won battles. But the war? Ethan was slippery. Out on bail. Whispering to contacts. A package arrived. My old yearbook. Pages dog-eared to the blank space under family attendance. Note inside. Missed you at prom. Let's catch up. I didn't burn it. Framed it instead. Reminder on the wall. The next move was mine, and it would be unforgivable. August humidity clung like guilt, turning Boston into a steam bath where secrets festered. I'd landed a gig transcribing legal docs for a firm downtown, irony thick as the smog, pocketing overtime to fund my armor, self-defense classes, a concealed carry permit, controversial in blue state Mass, but desperation trumps dogma, and a therapist who specialized in trauma recovery.
Dr.
Lena didn't buy my metaphorical death story, but she nodded through sessions, prescribing boundaries over benzos. Revenge is a mirror, she said. It reflects back what you hate most.
Hate.
Yeah, that fit. Ethan's bail hearing replayed on loop, him in a Tom Ford suit, feigning remorse. Judge swayed by hail donations to the PAC. Free on $5 mill. Jetting to a safe house in Miami. Rita's trail went cold there, too many shell LLCs, but I had an ace, his ex. Kendra. A sorority shark who dumped him post-Yale for ethical differences. I'd found her on LinkedIn. Now a compliance officer in Philly. Email. Know what your ex is hiding? I do. Coffee? She met me in a neutral Starbucks. Blonde highlights screaming money.
Eyes wary.
Alara Voss. The ghostwriter of the Hale takedown. I slid over a USB. Ethan's nudes, not his best angle, tied to payoffs for her silence on his side gigs. Leverage, I said. Help me bury him. Or this goes viral. Controversial? Blackmail's a federal sin. But ethics are for the living. Kendra paled. Then smirked. Screw him. What's the play? The play. Infiltrate his circle. Kendra fed me invites to rehab galas, rich kid fundraisers masking money launders. First one, a yacht club bash in Newport, Rhode Island. Sails snapping like whips. I went as her plus one. Black, dress-hugging curves I'd forgotten I had. Hair pinned like a crown of thorns. Ethan held court on deck. Tanned and tousled. Charming donors with tales of philanthropy. Our eyes met across champagne flutes, his widened, then narrowed to slits. Luna, he drawled. Gliding over. Arm around a bikini-clad arm candy. Or Alara.
Slumming it.
Kendra tensed. I smiled. Teeth bared. Just catching up.
Bro.
Heard Miami's lovely. The feds crashing your pool parties. His grip tightened on the glass.
Goo.
But runaways always come crawling back. Low. For my ears. Dad's will reads tomorrow. Your cut's gone unless you play nice. Dad's will. In my first life. It had been the noose, me disinherited for instability, Ethan inheriting all. Twist, Dad knew about the drugs. Covered for his heir. This time, I'd forged a codicil months back, via a notary contact from Rita, controversial as hell. Felony territory. It bequeathed my share to a trust for opioid victims. If probated, Ethan's empire crumbled further. Too late, I whispered. I already signed away the poison. Rage flickered, masked by a laugh. You'll regret this. He vanished into the crowd, but not before slipping something into Kendra's purse, a tracker.
You bet.
We bailed early. her car peeling out like a getaway. Back in Philly, Kendra cracked his safe digital. Child's play for her fintech chops. Files galore. Bribes to the judge. Mom's affair with the guru exposed as extortion. Even proof Dad's accident in '09 wasn't Ethan's doing. To inherit early. The big secret. I wasn't Hale blood. Mom's affair. With a pool boy who'd vanished after threats. Ethan knew. Used it to gaslight me. You're the outsider.
Luna.
Always were.
B-kick later on B-kick.
But fuel for the fire. I leaked the will forgery anonymously, no. Wait. That was mine. The real docs to Rita. Hale Ayre's dark legacy. Her piece dropped like a bomb. Ethan rearrested mid-flight to Cayman. Bail revoked. Headlines crowed prodigal son in chains. Mom called then. Number spoofed but voice cracking. Luna.
Please.
Your brother's all I have left. Come home. Tears?
Crocodile.
Laced with lithium. I hung up, but the plea lingered. Family's a drug. Addictive even in withdrawal. Fall semester started amid chaos. I transferred to UMass Boston, majoring in journalism, Rita's influence. Classes debated ethics. Is doxing justice? Hands shot up, mine stayed down. I knew the gray zones, lived them. Jax visited, crashing on my futon with pizza and pot. You're a vigilante now, he teased, exhaling smoke rings. I confess the blackmail.
The forgery.
He choked.
Jesus. Alara.
That's not revenge, that's roulette.
Worth a spin, I said.
But doubts wheeled. What if Kendra flipped? What if Ethan lawyered his way free? November brought Thanksgiving, mine solitary. Turkey TV dinner with Law and Order marathons. Then, the controversial pivot. I went public. Full face.
Nobler.
In a Vanity Fair profile Rita co-wrote. The daughter who dismantled her dynasty. Photos, me in a power suit.
Graduatium cap par cair unicali.
Quotes, they forgot me once. I made sure they'd never forget. Backlash exploded. Twitter, X now lit up. Cancel Luna, Ethan's bots. Hail hoax trolls. Feminists hailed me. Conservatives decried family destroyer. Doxers flooded my inbox. Old addresses. Mia's number. Jax ghosted. Scared off. Even DR. Lena suggested a hiatus. This isn't healing, it's haunting. But the high? Ethan's trial loomed. January in Hartford. I testified. Voice steady under lights. The forgotten grad. The frame. The poison pill. Jurors leaned in. Ethan's glare a laser from the defense table. Lies, he mouthed. But evidence piled. Kendra's testimony. The files. My scars, literal and not. Cross-exam, his lawyer. Silver-tongued. MS. Voss. Isn't this vendetta? Sibling rivalry gone mad. I locked eyes with Ethan. Rivalry implies equality. He was the prince. I was the pawn. But pawns can queen up.
Gasps.
Gavel banged recess. Outside. Reporters swarmed. I slipped away. Heart-pounding triumph. Yet, in the green room, a twist whispered, Mom's letter. Delivered by courier. Dearest Luna, before you judge, know this, I protected you. The pool boy, he was your father. Ethan killed him to keep the secret. Forgive?
No.
Fight?
Yes.
But end it.
Love. M.
Protected. The word curdled. All those migraines, covering for a murder? My real dad. Erased. Rage renewed, but laced with pity.
Mom.
Complicit. Trial resumed, but my mind reeled. End it?
Hell no.
The Queen was just warming up. January in Hartford was a frozen hell. Courthouse marble echoing like tomb steps. Ethan's trial stretched weeks. A circus of suits and subpoenas. Me the star witness turned pariah. Protesters clashed outside, opioid victims in black armbands versus Hail loyalists waving innocent until proven signs. I navigated the gauntlet in oversized sunglasses. Rita at my elbow. Breathe. You're the blade, not the target.
Inside.
The air reeked of old wood and older grudges. Ethan, shackled but suited, smirked daily, taunting, unbreakable. Day 3. My full testimony. The embezzlement setup. His whispers in the cell block visits. Confess. Cease. And I'll pull strings. I detailed the fentanyl pipeline. Warehouses in Bridgeport shipping death disguised as vitamins. Jurors shifted. One wiping tears at the victim montage, kids' photos. Hollow-eyed parents. But Ethan's defense? Masterful misdirection. They painted me unstable. Therapy records subpoenaed Dr. Lena fought. Lost. My name change as fugitive flight. This woman's crusade destroyed a family. The lawyer boomed, flashing my Vanity Fair spread. Vengeance. Not veracity. Objection sustained, but damage done. Whispers in the hall. She's the real villain. Mia testified for them, called as character witness. Sobbing. Luna was always dramatic. Betrayal anew. Sharp as glass. I glared from the stand. She looked away. Chow Treo hit week 4. The secret unveiled. Prosecutor's ace, mom's deposition. Compelled by immunity deal. She took the stand, Botox frozen face cracking under lights. I knew about the drugs. Covered for Ethan. He was my boy. Then, the bomb, my parentage. Luna's not Richard's. The pool boy, Tommy, he loved her. Ethan found out. Threatened him. One night. Accident at the pool. Drowned. Gasps rippled. Ethan bolted up. Lies. Bailiffs wrestled him down. I gripped the rail. World tilting. My real dad. Murdered for existing? All those swim lessons Ethan forced, taunts disguised. Mom met my eyes. Forgive me?
No plea.
Just fact. The jury deliberated 2 days. Snow blanketing the city like absolution denied. Verdict: guilty on all counts, trafficking, fraud, manslaughter for Tommy. Ethan sentenced to 25, to life. Face ashen as the gavel fell. You win. Luna, he hissed in transit, cameras flashing. But blood calls to blood.
Blood.
The word haunted the drive back to Boston. Wipers slapping slush. Rita popped champagne at her loft. You did it. Empire's dust. Toasts to Shadow Fox. But my smile faltered. Jax texted, apology. Proud of you. Badass.
Mia?
Radio silence. February thawed into mud season. My life a patchwork of normalcy. Classes. Dog walks. Therapy where Dr. Lena unpacked the dad bomb. Grief's nonlinear, she said. I nodded. But inside, a void. Victory felt vacant. The hails were broken. Dad vegetative in a nursing home. Mom selling the McMansion to fund appeals, but me, still fractured. Controversial choice 3. I visited Ethan. Supermax in Pennsylvania. Plexiglass dividing us like fate's joke. He looked gaunt. Orange jumpsuit swallowing him. Come to gloat. No, I lied. Closure. He laughed.
Hollow.
Closure? You stole my life. Then.
Tis to, momlied.
Tommy wasn't your dad. I killed him because he was banging her, threatening to expose Dad's affairs. You're Hale through and through, the spare I needed to sacrifice. Lies, truth, his eyes, mirror of mine, held no mercy. Why frame me? I pressed. Balance sheet. You were weak. And fun, watching you break. I stood.
Bilirsin.
Rot here. Ethan. I'll dance on your grave. Outside. Spring teased, crocuses pushing through frost. But his words burrowed. Was I the monster now? Forgery. Blackmail. The expose that bankrupted Mom.
Dr.
Lena called it proportional response. I called it survival. Summer bloomed, vengeful. Rita pitched a book deal. Reborn in rage. I declined my story.
Notre spectacle.
Instead, I founded a nonprofit, Hale Legacy Fund. Grants for addict families. Controversial? Pouring dirty inheritance into good? Protesters picketed the launch. Blood money. But checks cleared. Lives mended. Jax returned.
Tentative date arcade.
Not interrogations. You're more than payback, he murmured over nachos. Maybe. Mia reached out too. Sorry. Brainwashed. Coffee? I met her. Neutral turf. Tears. Hugs. Forgiveness doled like rations.
I was scared, she admitted.
Of losing you both. Choose, I said.
She did, me.
By fall. UMass tenure track loomed. Thesis on narrative as weapon. Rita's wedding invite arrived, me as maid of honor. Life. Stitching itself. But tension simmered. Ethan's appeal. Whispers of new evidence. My forgeries unearthed. A PI tailed me. Van idling outside class. One night. Brakes failed on my commute. Subtle sabotage? I ditched the beater. Uber only. Crisis peaked October. Mom's suicide note. Fax to Rita. Can't face the empty house. Tell Luna I loved her. In my way. And the cycle. Pills. Bathtub, classic Hamptons tragedy. I flew home. First time in years. The mansion. Gutted by auction. Echoed. Her room. Photos of me. Toddler grins amid the neglect. A letter. You were my light. But I dimmed it. Forgive?
No.
But understanding? A sliver. Funeral small cousins.
Noisen.
I spoke. She forgot a lot. But not everything. Eulogy or epitaph.
Both.
Back in Boston. Resolve hardened. Ethan's appeal? I countered with counterforgeries, nah. Truth serum. Full confession tape. Hidden in trial prep. It sealed his fate. Life without parole. Yet, as leaves turned,
so did I.
The girl who smashed mirrors? Evolving. But revenge's shadow lingers. Whispering what next. November winds howled through Boston like unfinished business. Stripping trees bare as my illusions. Ethan's appeal crashed in a federal smackdown. My tape.
Authenticated.
Branded him sociopath incarnate. Judge's words. Not mine. but they echoed the cell block jeers I'd endured. Life sentence. No mercy. Rita texted, "Champagne?" I replied, "Coffee." Real talk. We met at our Somerville haunt, her ring glinting under neon. "Book regrets," she probed, stirring sugar. "Not regrets," I said. "Just
Done.
the Hales are ghosts. Time to haunt forward." She nodded, wise beyond her scoops. "You're free."
Alara.
Act like it.
Free.
The word tasted foreign, like hope laced with rust. Classes wrapped. Thesis defended. A+. Prof gushing seminal. Jack's proposed road trip. Key West. No drama. I packed light. Red dress for sunsets. Not showdowns. But twists don't die easy. December. A letter from Supermax. Ethan scrawl. "One last game.
Cease.
Check the safety deposit box." Dad's final gift. Address. Greenwich Bank. Key enclosed. Curiosity. That cat killer. Drag me back. The town sneered, old neighbors averting eyes. Baristas comping lattes with pity. Bank vault. Box 417. Dusty as sins. Inside. Flash drive. Deed to a cabin in Vermont. And a letter. Dad's hand. Shaky post-stroke. "Luna, if you're reading." Ethan's exposed. "Sorry for the shadows. This place was your mom's hideaway."
Preemie.
Clean slate. And the drive? Proof I tried to stop him.
Love.
Tears blurred ink. Tried? The drive held emails. Dad confronting Ethan years back. "And the shipments or you're out." Reply. Threats. "You'll lose everything. Including her."
Free.
The leverage. Dad backed down. Buried it. Complicit to the end. The cabin, pine log retreat. Adirondacks looming like sentinels. I drove up Christmas Eve. Snow crunching under tires.
Inside.
Fireplace stocked. Fridge bare but for wine. Jax arrived at dusk. Arms full of groceries. Grin boyish. Our fortress. We built a fire. Shadows dancing as I spilled the drive's guts. He listened.
No judgment.
"You're not them," he said, pulling me close. "You're the one who broke the chain." That night, under quilts thick as forgiveness, I dreamed not of cells but graduations mine. Alternate. Families cheering. Woke to Jax's coffee. His whisper. "Marry me? Not now. But someday."
Someday.
The word bloomed. Spring 2020, pandemic hit. World locking down like my old cell. But I thrived. Remote lectures. Fund growing to millions. Rita's podcast guest spot going viral. Alara Voss, from forgotten to fearless. Listeners DM'd stories, neglected kids. Framed siblings. I replied. Built a network. Power. Redistributed. Controversy lingered. A New Yorker piece questioned my methods. Hero or hack. Lawsuits from Hale remnants fizzled. Karma's a bitch.
Mia visited.
Pregnant now. Your godkid needs an Alara. Healing. In fits. Twist final. Summer solstice. Another letter. Luna Hale or Voss. Tommy O'Shea was your father. Killed by Ethan. But I have proof he didn't act alone. Mom confessed before the end.
Day deeper.
Or let's sleep. A friend.
Day.
The urge clawed. But I burned it in the cabin hearth. Ashes scattering on wind. Deeper meant drowning. Tommy, Dad, ghost enough. Ethan rotted, that sufficed. By fall, UMass offered tenure. I countered with adjunct freedom. Jax and I bought the cabin outright. Weekends escaping to starlit skies. One night, porch swing creaking, he asked, "Regrets?" "None," I lied. Then truth. One. Wishing I'd changed sooner. He kissed my temple. "You did." Twice. Graduation came full circle. My master's. Small ceremony on Zoom. Jax whooping from off-camera.
No Alice.
But cheers from Mia.
Rito.
Jax's clan.
Captusa virtual.
Real joy bubbling. Years blurred. Fun CEO by 25. TED Talk on rebirth through ruin. Book anyway. Echoes of the erased. Proceeds to victims.
Ethan?
Died in a yard brawl. 2023. Shanked over contraband. No tears. Just a toast to karma. Mom's ghost? Faded. I visited her grave once. Greenwich Cemetery manicured as lies. You forgot the ceremony, I said to stone. But I remembered you. Left wildflowers. Walked away.
Now.
2025. Vermont cabin expanded. Solar panels. Library wing. Jax proposes for real. Ring simple as vows. Wedding small. Mia bridesmaid.
Rito officion.
No drama. As I stand at the altar, mirror fresh and white, eyes meet his. No ghosts. Just us. The girl who died forgotten? Reborn unbreakable. Family? I built mine chosen.
Fierce.
They forgot my graduation. I changed my name. And never looked back. But forward? That's the real revenge.